Good day, world. Good day, Philippines. This is the World Literature News reporting live in the studio. I am Evelyn Grayson.
And I am Claire Perez. Today, we bring you the latest and hottest information about poetry.
Hi, Kay. How was your day?
It's pretty good, Mims.
Wow, that's great. So, Kay, share with us your knowledge about poetry.
Mims, the little knowledge I have about poetry is that it came from the Greek verb poieo. Poieo, it means to create.
Oh, that's cool. So, by definition, poetry is a form of literature that uses artistic language to evoke meaning. It attempts to steer a reader's imagination or emotions. Furthermore, poetry has three main genres: the narrative, lyric, and dramatic poetry. Narrative poetry is simply a poetry that tells a story. It is expressed in a richly imaginative and rhythmical language. Moreover, it has three different types. Here's Bryce for the details. Bryce?
Thank you. First type of narrative poetry is epic. Epic is a long narrative poem telling a story about a heroic or exciting event and adventure. There are two kinds of epic. The folk epic, often without a definite author, while literary epic is with a definite author. And the second type of narrative poetry is metrical romance. It's a long rambling love story in verse. This includes stories about romantic love and etc. He's a popular poet, Mr. Undible Relation. So can you tell us all about ballad and musical tale?
Yeah, sure. Ballad is a short narrative poem intended to be sung. It can either be folk or literary epic. And the second one is mythical tale. It, it deals with any emotions or phase of life, and its story it told in a straightforward manner. And that's all.
Thank you, sir. And that's all for the narrative poetry. I'm Vincent Vice M. Casona, reporting back to the studio.
Thank you, Bryce. And now, the second is lyric poetry. Lyric poetry is of a more personal nature. It was traced the poet's own feelings, state of mind, and perception. Lyric poetry has six types. For the fine points, let us hear from our field correspondent, Giselle and Israel.
Thank you, Miss Kay. Now, the first type of lyric poetry is ode. Ode expresses a strong feeling of love or respect for someone or something. It is said to be the most majestic type of lyric poetry. Next is the elegy. Elegy is the poem or song that expresses sorrow for someone who is dead. It is also embodies hope and faith, which tends to soothe the sorrow of the poet. The third one is song. For that definition, I have here a college professor from Ateneo de Manila, Mr. John Dean Aragraza. Sir, can you tell a brief definition of songs?
Yes, of course. Song is simply a short lyric poem intended to be sung. It has two kinds. First is secular. Secular songs are those which have non-religious themes, just like marriage songs. The second one is sacred songs. These are songs made in praise of God, such as oratorios and cantatas.
Thank you, Mr. John Dean, for those infos.
My pleasure.
And now, for the rest of the lyric types, here's my partner, Giselle Noya.
Thank you, partner Israel. The fourth type of lyric poetry is simple lyric. It is the poem where the verse is musical and there is a mark of subjective or emotional tone. Next is sonnet. Sonnet is distinguished by the exact form 14 iambic pentameter lines. It employs one of the several rhyme schemes and adheres to a tightly structured thematic organization. There are two forms of sonnet. We have one of the most famous writer in the world, Mr. John Bradley Castro. Good day, sir.
I'm great. Thanks.
Very well. Now, sir, can you elaborate to our viewers the two forms of sonnet?
Sure. The first form of sonnet is Italian sonnet. It contains an octave where the theme is presented and a sestet where a resolution is reached. Its rhyme are ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE. On the other hand, Shakespearean sonnet presents its theme in the first three quatrains and state a conclusion in the couplet. Its rhyme scheme is BAB, CD, CD, EF, EF, and GG.
Thank you, sir. Now, the last type of lyric poetry is verse dissociative. It has a light verse which deals in a witty and polished fashion and with subjects that are not very serious. And that's all the lyric poetry. I am Jason Catlenoya,
And I am Israel Bueno,
reporting.
Back to studio.
Thank you, Giselle and Israel. The last type of poetry is dramatic poetry. This portrays life and character through action in powerful lines. Like narrative and lyric, it also has different types. For the details, here's Von Melenchon. Von?
Thank you. Dramatic poetry has three types. First, we have poetic plays. Poetic plays is divided in 5 different subtypes. First is comedy, which aims to amuse and ends happily. Next is tragedy. In this drama, the chief character undergoes struggles which ends disastrously. The third one is farce. It's just like comedy, but it's done in a more exaggerated way. Next is historical play. In this drama, the materials are taken from the lives of outstanding figures in history. And lastly, melodrama. Melodrama is play with sensational action, sentimental love story, and ends happily. Now, for the second and third type of dramatic poetry, here's Don Melton Kamaongan, a professor from a famous literary school in the Philippines. Good day, sir. Good day, sir. Sir, is it true a musky flourished in the 16th century and was not able to revive today?
Sadly, yes. Masking only flourished in England over 1,000 years ago. Masking was a form of court pageantry that had a prologue serving to introduce a group of actors who came in a sort of decorative flow.
Oh, how about dramatic monologue, sir?
Well, dramatic monologue is a poem in which one character speaks throughout, but the presence, actions, and words are implied. Yet later, the speaker of the poem unconsciously reveals his innermost character and tells much of the story.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your information, sir. And that's all for a dramatic poetry. I am Von Melenchon reporting back to the studio.
Thank you, Von. And now, once again, the 3 genres of poetry.
Narrative poetry, lyric poetry, and dramatic poetry.
You just heard the latest and hottest news served to you by World Literature News. I am Evelyn Grayson.
And I am KR's parent. Thank you and good afternoon.